Welcome to episode 26 of the Grit Code Podcast, a place where we decode the steps to success on and off the field. I'm 11-year NFL veteran Donte Whitner, three-time Pro Bowler, alongside number 378, NFL Hall of Famer, and 49ers legend Patrick Willis. And with us each and every week, Bay Area TV and radio analyst, Mr. Rod Brooks. Guys, how you guys doing?
Great, man.
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to get into it. It's time for some free agency. It's time for some NFL combine. It's start to put the team together to see what you're really going to be made of this year. And that's going to help us get right into it. The draft is coming. The 49ers free agency is coming. Is this an ultra competitive spot where the 49ers basically have to hit on 80% of the guys they bring in a rebuild?
You're talking in both draft and free agency total?
I'm talking in both. I'm talking about getting bigger, faster, stronger, younger.
The talk is that the Niners are not going to get real deep in free agency. They're not going to spend wildly. And I tend to believe that's going to be true. Not that they're going to just completely, just not do anything free agency wise, but a big free agency splash does not seem to be in the cards for the Niners. So for me, the focus is on the draft. And when you look at what Seattle has done, when you look at what the Rams have done over the last few years, where they have built their core through the draft with success, I think the Niners have to continue to emulate that. They started to do it last year. I really think they have to hit on it this year. And we've talked about this several times because of the missteps in the draft a few years ago in 2023, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that 80% number, if I can just focus on the draft, I think that 80% number is accurate. They might even need to bump it up to 90% because of the missteps in the draft previously.
Yeah, I mean, man, when I think about the Niners and where they are right now, I think it's what you said, Dante. I think it's about hitting on whatever move you decide to make. And Rod is again piggybacking off what you're saying. I think because of what's happened in the past draft, even some of the free agency, picks, maybe they didn't necessarily, pan out the way that, everyone had imagined. And so I think they're at a stage right now to where, man, some of those guys are not getting any younger. And last year when I was looking at them, if they would ask me, what's one thing you could say to these guys as a whole? And I would say, man, appreciate this moment that you have with these special individuals. And that team is not the same team that was, in the championship, 2 years ago. I mean, even though they done well, even though they done well, it just you could see the team you could see the team going separating, Dre and Telefunga, going over to Denver. Some, just seeing the team different. And so now I would just say to him, like, man, when Trent's not there no more, when Kittle's not there anymore, when Fred's not there anymore, man, it's going to be a different world. And so I think if they really trying to do something and they're really trying to make a splash, they have to hit on whatever they decide to do. And yeah, I mean, and they have some pieces. It's just injuries and whatnot, just taking a lot of it out. But yeah, whatever they decide to do, they have to hit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hypercritical to their championship window remaining open.
Yep.
There's no way that you can have 10 draft picks this year, 4, 5, 6 free agents you're going to bring in, and only 3 or 4 of them perform.
Right.
There's no way your championship window remains open if that's what happens in free agency and the draft. Pat, think about back to when Harbaugh first came in. They hit probably on 90% of the guys that they brought in. Carlos Rogers, myself, Deshaun Goldson. You brought in Ahmad Brooks. Then you went and got Alden Smith in the draft. You got Chris Culliver. You got Tremaine Brock. And then even the next year to replace guys, you got Eric Reed, right? So they were hitting on guys that were performing at a high level. So this is hypercritical to that championship remaining open. And I think they do have to make some splashes, Rod. I think this is the year where you have to get out of the old mode and go and make some splashes to compete, not only in the NFC, but to really compete for a championship. And there's some guys out there and some names that have been thrown around.
I,
Mike Evans from Tampa Bay. And then you have Tyreek Hill. How do you feel about those two names possibly joining the 49ers to help this offense?
Yeah, listen, I love Mike Evans. All right. A Texas boy. He's been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for the last 10 years. But he's on the older side. And for the Niners, they have to get younger across the board, particularly at wide receiver. The Niners are probably not going to have Jawan Jennings come back. The price is not going to be right. Seems like he's going to go elsewhere on the open market. If there's not that big of a market for Mike Evans' services and the price doesn't get to be that high, I think the Niners will get involved. But it's going to come down to how much is it worth for them to get Mike Evans in the fold. But if the price is right, I absolutely love that. Tyreek Hill is one everybody wants to talk about. Tyreek Hill is a special, special receiver. I'm going to put aside the off field stuff for a second and just talk about football performance. It's a pretty serious injury he just suffered. I don't know what type of Tyreek Hill you're going to get back once he gets healthy. Is he able to perform at the level he performed at before he got hurt, where he was still easily one of the top receivers in football? If that happens, that's great. This is where I defer to you two. With the severity of that injury, he basically tore his leg or got his leg torn up. Do you guys think he's going to be the same type of receiver he was before he suffered that catastrophic injury?
I'll let you answer that first, Pat.
I'm not shit. I'm like you, Rod. I don't. I've been questioning with that myself when I've heard people speaking about the Niners possibly being interested in him. And I'm thinking like, man, with today's technology and truly what I saw with Adrian Peterson when he came off his ACL, and I don't know
Good call.
how severe the ACL tears are because like you said, it sounds like Tyreek had a bad injury,
And he
but
dislocated the knee as well.
yeah, but then you see somebody like Fred, with all the stuff they have out there today, I don't want to doubt him, but it is something that you have to think about. And it kind of makes me think about the question you just asked, Dante, about the Niners window and everything. And I'm like, man, last year they had that core group of guys that were still right before that threshold of prime. I mean, Fred just coming into his prime, and but to see Kittle have the injury he had, to see Trent have some of the injuries he had, they have to bring in again, whatever you decide to do, you got to hit. Like you got to hit. I don't want to say this is like I feel like we're in a desperate mode, but that window last year was really special with those guys they had, and they really felt they're like, man, had we stayed injury free, we would have been playing in that Super Bowl. So yeah, with all that being said, they got to bring in somebody healthy. And when I think about Mike Evans as well, I'm like you, Rod. I love Mike Evans, respect his game, been one of the top guys in this league for a while. I think he's only second to Jerry Rice in 1,000-yard games straight. It goes back to also what kind of like how much does he want to demand the ball? Because we all know that Kyle Shanahan's offense is
Yeah.
not necessarily predicated on just we got this Brahma
Feeding the
bull over here.
receiver.
We just
Right.
gonna feed the receiver. It
Yeah.
just kind of depends on how the flow of the game goes. So with where he is now, if he's humble enough to come in again, and also with Tyreek, is he gonna come in? He gonna want the ball. He
Yeah.
gonna want to get fed. But maybe you could use him like Debo. I don't know, but he's coming off an injury.
I think they're both in a place where they're in a prove it season. And when you think about Tyreek Hill and his background, it's the guy you never want to doubt or count out. And you have to know that this setback is only perpetuating his mindset to prove everybody wrong. So, right now, while you can get one of the fastest receivers, most explosive receivers in the history of the National Football League for a severe discount on a 1 year deal, how is it going to hurt you? Especially if he can get back to 95%, 90% of what Tyreek Hill was. I think you take that chance.
But I,
And
I
then
think if he gets up to that 90-95% threshold in terms of being back to where he was, I don't know if the market is just going to be a 1 year prove it deal. If people are going to see that Tyreek Hill is getting anywhere close to where he was before he got injured, they're going to offer him a multi-year deal. Now,
yeah, so
once you
you get
get
him
past those
now.
2 years, you start to talk about options and stuff. But
You
I
gotta
don't
get him
know.
now, Rod. You gotta get him now, help him heal up, help him overcome the doubters,
Yeah.
put him in
Yeah.
that offense, and he's gonna blast the top off. And then Mike
But
Evans as well. Mike Evans
how?
has been the most lethal red zone threat over the last 10 years. And
Yeah.
the 49ers, sometimes they move the ball up and down the field, but sometimes you just need that big body to throw it to and somebody that's want to prove the doubters wrong. And Tampa, he feels like since they don't really want him back, he has something to prove to the league. And I
Yeah.
think that there's a place for him in this offense on a short-term deal as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I see that. I can see him coming in and being, as Rod said, that Juwan Jennings, but obviously like proven and way proven. But then I don't know why, man. But I think about the Tyreek Hill, and I'm like, I respect his speed. I respect him as an athlete. But then I think about, again, the Niners offense. If he comes back, AK, like you guys said, 95%, showing the old Tyreek Hill, and they could use him like perhaps they had used Debo, because I've heard some talks. Debo
Yeah,
maybe some of his teammates interested in him coming back. But if they could use him in that
that role.
in that role, I think then you might have some. But I don't know if he's gonna really want that because he was I mean, in his younger years, he started realizing, man,
Man,
I
he
don't want
looking
to
for
go back
any
there getting hit.
opportunity right now,
I don't
Pat.
want
You
to go
know
back
how
there
it
getting
is.
hit.
They doubting him. They like, man, shit, you might never play again. So he looking for any opportunity, and a team that has a chance to win a championship, I guarantee you he'll sign a 1-year deal.
I'm just going to stay consistent, and I think the Niners are going to stay on this mindset. They need to get younger and faster, and you're not getting younger with Mike Evans. All respect to his game, and I don't know if you're going to get faster considering the injury that Tyreek Hill suffered, and you're definitely not getting younger in that regard. Best case scenario, yeah, both of those guys would look good in a Niner uniform, but I think you have to go past projection and wishing and hoping and just kind of look at the current situation. They're older players, severely injured player in the case of Tyreek Hill. What has been the big problem for the Niners almost across the board? Being old and
Injuries.
slow. And I think one area where you cannot be old and slow again is at wide receiver.
Unless the young guys that they have prove themselves to be, something of now,
Like
then
which
maybe.
one? Jordan Watkins?
I mean,
Did you
he's
see that
somebody.
Instagram post, Pat?
No, I didn't
And
see
he put
that,
a
man.
post of himself up there and he put a caption that said, route runner. He was basically joking around, showing a sense of humor. Should he be joking around when you didn't even play one snap this year?
Nah, I don't really want to. I can't really speak on it per se because I didn't read it, so I don't know what context or what picture or whatnot that he's doing it out of. But I'm one of those type of people, man. Stay silent, work your tail off, and when it's time to show up, you better be ready to show up. Like get off that off season social media and just, man, get the
People were
grind.
looking for him this year. They
Yeah,
were
I think.
wondering why he didn't play much.
Yeah, I think.
They
I
were
think.
expecting a lot out of him.
I believe I think he's a talented player. I mean, I saw him at Ole Miss. I was a big fan of him at Ole Miss watching him play. I thought when they drafted him, I was excited. I still excited because I feel like he has the potential. I know he dealt with some injuries last year, but I think he could be a vital piece of that offense. Which again, if he can come into his own or step into this year too, and because he's still a rookie, so but step into this offseason role and really eat, really take it serious, really like I call it like get rid. Don't want to look out there and see like, hey man, why ain't you practicing? And it's because of another injury. It's like you too young to be having these. I think he could be a vital part of that, aka old Debo type of you know, ordeal, but he can
Mhm.
also run routes. Like I saw him do it at Ole Miss. So I don't know what, he posted, but
What do you
I
think
believe
about
in
that,
him.
Rod? You
Well,
saw the post.
listen, two things. Hey, man, you know these young cats nowadays move different. So however they feeling, good, bad, or just mid, you gonna hear about it or see about it on social media. So I just kind of take that with, hey, man, that's just the way these cats are nowadays. And also, we know wide receivers, young receivers in Kyle Shanahan's system, they kind of have to go through it. All right. Whether it's, kind of head knocking with Kyle Shanahan, they're not practicing the way he wants them to practice. They're not doing the things he wants them to do, or whether guys are dealing with soft tissue injuries or whatever. It just seems like young wide receivers coming into the Niners and Kyle Shanahan's system, there's always some sort of growing pain. So I'm going to give Jordan Watkins just a little bit of grace here coming into year two, kind of understanding the situation in full when it comes to wide receivers and Kyle Shanahan.
Well, red flag for me is you don't play one snap. That's just the red flag. Like when you come from a Power Five program, you're supposed to have a level of competitive nature
Sure.
and ability to get out there and help the team and perform. So when I see something like this, I automatically think like, what are you doing? Why are you playing these games? You understand that there's grown men out there that want to take your job and this is the way that you feed your family? Like, what are we playing about?
They just different, dog.
So you talking about route runner, motherfucker, you ain't run no routes all year.
They just different,
Like
bro.
Pat said, I need you to really go and get stronger, faster, get a stronger mindset so that you can come back and help this team because a lot of these guys think it's all jokes and fun and giggles and shits until they're on the roster bubble next year. When you get 3 guys out of the draft, you get 2 guys in free agency, you get 2 guys that return and step their game up, and now you barely scraping the surface in the preseason games. That's
Man,
how quickly it can go downhill. So I don't feel like this should be a joking matter. I feel like this should be a sense of urgency moment. And if you don't perform next year, you probably won't even be there.
Hey, it probably won't be a joking matter once the Niners finish their draft and you see a couple 3 receivers taken.
Yeah, and you see them in the first
hey,
3
hey, hey,
rounds.
hey, they made my chest just beat just there, just thinking about it. I'm like, man, here I was thinking I was gonna get cut, and I was a first round draft pick.
Yeah,
I was
Pat,
not
the
gonna get cut after my
competition is
first
fierce
strike.
though, right? They playing with it too much, right? It's fierce.
Man, like I don't know what it to me. I was for me. It was seriousness,
Mhm.
seriousness in the sense of, man, if you don't do what you got to do, your black ass will get sent home or get fired. And
Yeah, and
what
a
the
lot
hell
of
you?
times fear can be a great motivator. It's
Yeah,
like, man, you trying to take something from me that I've been trying to accomplish all my life. I'd be damned if I go put a smiley pic on Instagram talking about I balled out and didn't play a snap. God
man.
damn now. We're trying to make 100 million. What
They
the hell are you
different.
Hey,
talking about
You
joking and shit?
but both of y'all are speaking the absolute truth, and it all comes from experience. That being
that-
said, these young cats just move different.
So Jordan Watkins, I got a little advice for you, brother. Love you to death. Think you're ultra talented. You have an opportunity to go out and do something generational. Get off the social media. Put a program together, get on it right now. You had enough time off and go into the dark. Mamba mentality. Use everything that you heard in the media to your advantage to help perpetuate you to get on the field next year and set a goal for yourself of 12 to 1400 yards. They're looking outside the building, talking about who can come in and who can help this 49ers offense and Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan take the top off the defense. You have to be the guy that show it this year
That
because
there,
that's
there should not be a conversation about an injured Tyreek Hill. Would he fit with the Niners? We should not
yeah.
be having this conversation because we should be talking about, hey, Jordan Watkins is that guy that taking that next step or next couple of steps should be the guy to be the speedster, taking the top off the defense and having a big year.
There it is right there. That's who I think can be a key factor in this offense in this new year to come. Jordan Watkins.
We rooting on you,
Absolutely.
dog. We counting on you,
Hey,
brother.
let's go. We're gonna get on you, but hey, we need you to ball out for real. Like everybody's leaning on you. Um, Getting over to one of the other players from the 49ers on the other side of the ball, I saw another Renardo Green Instagram message where, sometimes he didn't play as well as he possibly could this year. Even in the playoffs, you saw him and Kyle Shanahan have that little spat on the sideline on national TV, and they took him out the game, touchdown next play. But he put another message up there saying that all the clowns that are against him and going against the brand, they're going to eat their words. Is this another instant where players just need to go into the dark and work, not be emotional because this is what you signed up for, and then come out and prove the doubters wrong after you put in this long offseason of work getting bigger, faster, and stronger?
Let me ask this question instead of saying what I said before, which is these young cats move different. Because they are on social media and because whatever they're feeling, good or bad or just mid, is going to be put out there on social media. Can you do both? Can you speak your mind on your socials and also put in the work in the off season?
Yeah, but a
Yeah,
lot of times they say talk is cheap, and a lot of times when you feel like you have to explain it before the actual work get put in, there's not really like a continuity of mindset along with the work that it requires.
Okay.
Because a lot of times when we go to work, I remember times in Buffalo, I was a top 10 pick. We had a terrible defense and an outdated system. Guess who took the brunt of all the bullshit in the media?
yeah,
Me. I never blamed anybody or went in the media or crying, "Oh, we don't have a defensive line. Oh, we got new defensive tackles every week. Oh, we don't have a pass rush. Tom Brady in the division." I didn't give a fuck. I didn't make those excuses. I still believed in me and I still put the work in and I still had an opportunity to go somewhere where I was valued in the proper system and then showcase my ability. So you have to fight through those tough times early in your career, Pat. You did too.
yeah,
Losing games, you might give up a touchdown. They're going to talk about you. We signed up for this. But guess what? You don't show emotion. The Warriors don't show emotion. The Warriors just go to work.
yeah. Hey, Dante, hey man, you was on it right there.
Hey, you know it. The Warriors just go to work, Pat.
Yeah,
We
hey,
ain't
that.
talking about it. We ain't crying on social media. I'm in this motherfucker lifting 345 pounds trying to knock a motherfucker head off. That's the difference. So I think, again, Renardo, you have all the talent in the world. Yeah, I feel like you get a little lethargic sometimes. But you can go into the dark as well, bigger, faster, stronger, put on some weight, diet cleaned up, rest, focus, and come out and be a top 10 corner in the league next year. It's possible,
Yeah,
but the social media is not going to cut it.
nah, he did. He looked good last year. He had some games like you said where it wasn't his best games, but you could see it there. And I feel like it's just what you said. Go and take this off season, really just lock in, and it's kind of go back to what you said,
Yeah,
Rob. We
talk
kind
about
of,
how important these off seasons are, though.
man, I feel like, man, the off seasons are it's so important that I think I would only give myself 2 weeks off before I went back in to work because my mindset was always like, man, I got to be better this year than I was last year. And I'll never forget, Coach Singletary told me after my rookie year, he said, Pat, I'm gonna tell you, he said they're gonna get ready. They're gonna be coming after you more, so you're gonna have to get better. And I didn't know what he was talking about. In my mind, I'm thinking like, shit, they was already coming after me. So
Yeah.
but then I started realizing like,
Once you
and
get a
then
name, now you have a bullseye on your chest.
now you have a
I can get
bullseye.
paid from knocking the shit out of Patrick Willis, so
Yep.
Patrick Willis has to be all pro, all tier Patrick Willis.
And I promise you, man, it was already it was already in me to like you say, Dante, just grind, just work. But then also starting to understand that, starting to hear other offenses sometimes speak and say, "Yeah, man, we're trying to make sure we figure out where you are. You and Navarro are both out there, but we're trying to make sure we figure out where you are." And I'm like, "Shit, you ain't watching him. You ain't, y'all ain't, y'all
No,
ain't
it's
watching
like
both
you
of
the
us."
impact player, buddy, and
And
we gotta
so
like fight harder to block you, which makes you have to elevate your game.
yeah, yeah. So the off season is huge, man. But it's always goes back to the mental side and really saying, asking yourself, like, how do I want to be remembered when this game is over? And you can only be remembered by the plays that you make, or you'll get remembered by them plays that are made on you. And my mindset was always win way more battles than you lose or whatnot. And so that was a gladiator mindset. I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to lose none, maybe 1, 2, but out of 10, like I'm getting 8. Like I have to, or just get one more than you lose. Like, but yeah, they gotta lock in, man.
And I remember my mindset working out down here in Miami, Florida, 100-degree weather on this hot, sticky turf where your feet start to burn. And that's when I had my best years. When I took it back to like high school workouts in a gym where it's like old weights that are like ultra heavy pack. You know, them
Mhm.
old weights be heavy than a
Yeah. Oh,
motherfucker.
iron weights. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
hell yeah. I'm like, damn, is this 225? I had to
Yeah.
take it back to that. Dust on the floor, chalk
Yeah.
on the hands,
Yeah.
right? 2, 3 workouts a day. strapping my helmet up, running all these gassers. You remember, because NFL players, once they get out of college, you get away from the half gassers. You're
Yeah.
like, man, that's too much running. But I remember pushing myself to get up to like 18 to 20 in the offseason with my helmet on, Pat.
Yeah.
2, 3 a day. And then guess what that equated to? The best years of my career in San Francisco. So the guys out there, the pain is part of the process. And the more pain you can endure, the better you're going to be prepared to go out there and perform.
I'm gonna
And I
get
think
these
all
young.
of those were P's. That was like 8 P's.
Hey, peas.
Yeah, 8 P's.
I'm gonna give these young guys the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise, and I'm with both of y'all. I think there's just a little bit too much emoting out there on social media for these young cats. But again, this is just how this young generation gets down. Their feelings are out there, and that's just how they roll. I'm really hoping that they are doing both of these things. You can talk if you want to, whether us old cats like it or not. But if you putting in that work, and we see, because minicamp's right around the corner, all right. And once you're done with the draft, you got rookie.
Then hold on, Brad. Work is relative, though.
No, I get that.
Because we all felt like, even up to my 5 years in Buffalo, I felt like I was putting in the work.
Mhm.
I didn't really start to put into the work until I put systems together in the offseason to
Yeah.
really challenge my body, spirit, and mind to
I'm
go
just gonna
above and beyond
assume.
where I ever trained before.
I'm just gonna assume that they're doing that. Without,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
give
get
them
that,
that
Well,
grace
Rod.
only
and
less
benefit of the
than
doubt.
1% make the Pro Bowl and go all pro. So you can't assume that these guys are going above and beyond what the Pro Bowlers and all pros are
But
doing.
Well,
but I'm with you, Rod. I see what you say. I see what you're saying, Dante. But I also see what.
Hey, you know what that real grind is,
Yeah,
Pat.
of course,
but
yeah.
it's again, it's almost subjective in the sense of when I think about um or objective when I think about like when you at a practice now, they have monitors on them that tells them that
Everything.
they get up to a certain if they get up to a certain amount of miles in a practice, they actually take them back and say,
That's
"Hey,
the problem.
you only supposed to have so many, this or so many that." And in my
Pat, they
mind,
ran us in the fucking dirt.
I know, but that and so
And
that's
we
what
were
I'm saying.
explosive and we were fast and we were endured.
Dante, so that's what I'm saying. Like, is that for us and here, like us, the way we talk about it, like, man, it sounds like it's just it's nature, it's natural. But then when I think about what Rod is saying, I'm like, yeah, they do. They train these guys in a different type of method now, or a
Yeah, too much technology fucked
different
it
type
up.
of way.
Just like
And
the
so,
data analysis in the front office, it's fucking up everything.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, that's two completely different things now.
Yeah, but it's like
yeah.
sometimes you gotta go with your gut. I could see a
I
football player, I could smell them, I could like touch them, I could talk to him and like understand his mindset. The data can't do that.
Yeah, but that's why you would hope that they say. You remember back in in the old school days, or in any uh Gladiator movie or Trojan like movie or just something where it's just you remember
Gladiator.
they always got to climb to the very top and they got to go through the hardest climb to get to where they
To the
need to
peak.
get to or whatnot.
Mhm.
And so I think Dante, like when you think about us, that's when you think about us, that's what it was for us. Now it's almost like, man, it's been given to them in a way that I don't want to say given. I'm gonna go back, Rod. I'm just gonna say what you say, man. The young cats, it's a different
It's just different.
time.
It's
It's
just
a
different.
different time, and that's why. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. This is why you will hope that they pay attention to those who came before,
Yeah.
and they say to themselves, like, you know what? If I want to take my game to another level, maybe they hear what you're saying, Dante, and they say, you know what? I'm gonna go find that professor. I'm gonna go find him. I'm gonna go train with him. But if not, they
Imma
might
go
just
2 times or 3 times a day instead
yeah,
of 1 time
yeah,
now.
they
Imma
might
put some hot yoga in there. Imma hire a chef. Imma hire a nutritionist. Imma get my blood work done. Imma know everything about myself in the game of football to give me the maximum opportunity to max out when it's time to get paid.
did you know that back then, or is that coming
In my
from your
first 5 years, I knew that because it was embedded through me through Ted Ginn's father. Ted
wow.
Ginn Sr. Because we went to personal training all through since I was 11, 12 years old, Pat.
So
We've been
you've
going to
been doing
personal
it.
training and practicing 2, 3 times a day since then. Track, basketball, football, personal training, morning lifts. It's like, so you get used to it.
Mhm.
But next, we're going to bring in our guest of the week. And this is the youngest of the bunch in the secondary during the Harbaugh days. A guy who was a little fiery sometimes, a little hard to control. But when it came to game day, he was always ready to lay that thing. Former 5-star recruit, third round NFL draft pick, Super Bowl starter, a journey that includes trauma, some national backlash, devastating injury, and growth. From Philadelphia to the Harbaugh era 49ers, I bring to you Mr. Chris Culliver. Cully, what's the deal?
Thank you, man.
Cully 2 times.
What's up with you, bro?
Thank
And I
you.
want everybody out there to know that a lot of times when we get the guys on here, this is our first time having a face to face in a few years, which
Yeah,
makes it cool. So it's good to see you, man. You're looking good. Look like you've been working out.
yeah, it's all
Man, look, man,
man. You know how things go, man. Starting off slow, but the right way. Man, you was giving me an introduction already. I was sitting there with with the computer. I'm sitting there. I see the guys. I'm like, look, I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I'm on. I was about to
You
call.
on, man.
I don't know
How
what's
you
going.
doing, brother?
Oh man, all is well. All is well, man. It's good to see y'all. It's good to see y'all, man.
You
Good to see
35 yet? How old are you now?
35. I'm 37 now.
Ooh,
What?
shit.
37, god dang, it make
man.
me feel old.
Social Security right around the corner for you, dog.
Absolutely.
So you
37.
pushing the big 4-0, huh?
I got a couple more for that one.
Uh-huh. I'll be 41 in 5 months. So you a little bit behind there. But we want to get right into it, man. You grew up in Philadelphia upbringing. Dealt with some trauma like us all. How did that trauma help shape you early on in your life?
Well, like you said, honestly, it was a lot. It was a lot similar to kind of like a lot of guys' story. You know, Pat, you got a story. You know, Donte got a story, and it was kind of like coming to the league. First off, it was like just kind of like everybody had a story. So I didn't never necessarily think that my story was different from anybody else's, but I just felt like we all was kind of the same. So yes, definitely grew up in Philadelphia. Was kind of more so raised there. I was born in Pensacola, Florida. A lot of people don't know that, but when I was 2 days old, I ain't gonna lie, 2 weeks old, I went to Philadelphia and I pretty much was raised there. All my life. And then kind of the transitioning from my father going back and forth in the summer times and stuff like that. So it was definitely challenging for far as growing up and having that aspect of it. But we worked through it.
There were some traumatic experiences that you experienced early. I think your stepfather was killed and your mom was there. Can you talk about those things and how those things affected you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. That was kind of like the breaking point. I grew up with a lot of cousins in Philadelphia and things like that. It's 8, 10 of us in our grandmama house, and everybody sleeping on the floor. You got about 3 people that sleeping upstairs with grandma. Those type of accolades and things that goes on. But to start off with that, yeah, that was the first trauma obviously in my life. I was young. I think I was 8 years old. I got younger brother. I got two older brothers at the time, and my step. We came back from California. Came back from California. Just I think my parents were celebrating and things like that at a nightclub that they go to that's kind of famous. And next thing you know, it was a robbery at the place, and my dad, my step pop died, and my mom got shot twice in her chest. So I was still kind of a little choked up about it and stuff like that. But yeah, that was the first you know dealing with the trauma that I had. You know what I'm saying, and growing up and figuring things out. Obviously, you start going to different. Places that's trying to live and things like that. A lot of people don't know. I failed fourth grade. Did a lot of things. I could have graduated at 16 or something like that, and it was just what it was. But obviously my life took a toll in the way it did, and I don't take nothing back.
How did you find football, or how did football find you?
hustling in the streets. So that's how I really started playing football. It wasn't like organized football and stuff like that. And oh, Chris, you grew up playing in these organized programs all your life. My first taste of football, we called, Philadelphia, we different. So we got different talks and stuff. So I had an old head.
Yeah.
And my old head was pretty much, steady quarterback for me. We'll go pole to pole, and he'll put $20 up, and it's another old head with his young guy, prodigy or whatever you want to call it. He betting on him that he gonna do better than me. First to 5, get the dub, and I know I'm coming with the dub. So that's how it kind of started, and it just whether it was an older guy, a couple years older than me, and stuff like that. And you just kind of that's how it was just growing up in the grit of, Philadelphia.
So the hard knock life. I remember we used to play in the street and we would play tag in between the cement.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the grass in the front of the house, you can tackle somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how fucking crazy that is? I didn't know that you could hit your head on that cement. I think back like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Mhm.
And this is really being raised in a concrete jungle. Well,
Yeah.
you have kids that are basically playing tackle on cement. Did you guys play that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sideline pop is what we called it.
I heard about people doing that, but I was from the South where we didn't have a whole lot of concrete. We still had gravel roads when I was growing up. So it took. So
You
we
might
didn't
get
have
tackled
that,
in the
but-
pond around there.
Hey,
Or you damn sure gonna get tackled in some horse shit,
Hey, yeah,
some cow
hey,
shit,
dog shit. Like, but we,
something. It's gonna be all on the side of your face, right?
backyard football. But hey, but it's crazy though when you hear about that kind of stuff. Like, so Cully, like, man, I remember those times too, growing up with grandma and all of us just, being in one home or just a lot of family. But I always found that a lot of people, when I think back when I was young, I think about, man, me and my cousins, man, we used to go at it. I feel like they was my first competition to the point where it was some of my cousins. I'm like, man, when I
I
got to
don't
the
even know if I
school
like
ball,
you.
like, when I got to school ball, I was like, man, this ain't nothing compared to what
What
we
you
be
do
like, the way we go through and the way we compete back at home. So, man, to hear some of that now, I'm like, I was always curious, like, Cully, when you got to us at the Niners, man, I ain't gonna lie, you had a chip on your shoulder. Like, it didn't take much.
He
You was
was
ready to
angry
scrap.
at
Man,
every fucking
you
thing
was ready
walking.
to scrap. I used to be like, I said, all right, man, how am I going? I know I'm a captain, but how am I going to relate to him, whatnot, to where it's like, but I feel like it just naturally, we just vibe, like, for some reason or whatnot. Like, I don't know. I feel like we had a pretty cool, like, you know what I'm saying, teammate and whatnot, because I was going to say, shout out to your moms, man, and your brothers, like, your sisters, the whole fam, man. Like, I enjoyed, Cully, when you was out here, man, and just your hospitality, let me come over or whatnot. It was A1, man. So I appreciate that and hope everyone's well.
Nah, definitely. I would definitely appreciate it, man. Coming to the Niners, I definitely, understood your story. And that was the first person that I understood, you know what I'm saying? So, yes, I definitely
Were you
gravitated.
starstruck, Cully?
Nah,
Was
I
you
wasn't,
starstruck the first time you met P-Dub?
I wasn't so much starstruck because my whole thing was everybody, like I said, everybody had a story. Like whether you didn't have a mom, whether this person didn't have a dad, like Pat didn't have no sneakers and stuff like that, walking on grass, going to school. Like, so I looked at those things and I was like, dang, like, not saying like my situation isn't bad, but I felt like we all had something to tell or prove. So, and everybody was, from different parts of United States and different places and things like that. So you just kind of really understood people's story and that's how I felt like we more so came together as a brother and a brotherhood, which made it a lot easier. Pat, like you said, he was our leader, and I felt like you said, like me, taking it in and things like that. I felt like a lot of guys, that was older, like yourself, Donte, Pat, it wasn't just, like, oh, we cool with you or anything like that. No, it was like you had to earn the respect of the older guys.
And we expect your ass to perform at a high level like a veteran. Fuck that bullshit. Get the call. We gave you the call. We expect you to be proper leverage, all that, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's right. No,
When they
What you
talk about
talking about,
rookies
Dante?
not performing now,
tell
that's
you.
because they don't have vets that's putting that pressure on their ass.
No, that's right. Donte didn't play. You was definitely one of the ones that didn't play.
Yeah, we gonna get this shit right, Cully.
everything. As soon as you see Whit on game day, he ain't saying hey, none of that. You hitting today?
It's serious.
It's like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, I'm with you. And sometimes me and Whit used to hit the weights a little bit before the going on Sunday. You're like, man, we get these guns right.
Yeah, had that towel hanging. You ready to go. Put a little bit of Vaseline on them guns. Them motherfuckers out there running around scared, ain't they, Cully? When they see you
Whit was so
pregame,
shiny. Whit gonna let you know them guns is out tonight.
they out tonight.
Always out.
They
Hey,
out.
hey, he used to come to the TV studio like that. It'd be in
Hell
the middle
yeah.
of December, and he'd come in off the street with a cutoff sweatshirt. And I'm like, you know,
You gonna see that this
I'm gonna keep it
motherfucking
funky
work
between the
been
four
put
of us.
in.
I'm
Listen,
looking like, look at this.
that motherfucker
And he
Whit did
twigging
play.
it.
Whit
Rod
did-
in there twigging it. Talking about he running 10 miles a day.
Oh, I
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. Oh, no, let's not front. We're doing that now.
Okay.
No.
Let him know.
No. I might not outhit you, but I'm damn sure gonna outrun you.
Hey, let him know.
Whit didn't even like to go to the post. Whit like, look, I'm going down, hitting shit. You know how them boys today be talking about 22 miles an hour, ran about 5 miles in the field of the tracker thing.
Yeah.
Whit
Man,
like,
Gonna run 22 miles an hour to your goddamn chin strap. See if you can handle it. I never seen a motherfucking receiver 190 that can take 200 pounds coming at his chin strap 22 miles per hour. Haven't seen a person in history that could take that collision right there, Rod.
Cully, what you play at?
I played about 195 when I was at my peak.
Cully, what you play at?
You ain't play at 195. You was more than that. I
was about 195.
What you was?
You over there trying to
when I knocked Pierre Thomas out, I was 206.
I'm talking about Cully. How much did you play at?
I played at 200.
200. I feel like you was a thick corner.
We had our weight.
Yeah.
Above or below, you know how I go.
Yeah.
I went 3 pounds over. I'm getting fine.
So, Cully, what's pretty extraordinary about your story is you didn't even start playing high school football until the 10th grade.
Yeah.
And then you just burst on the scene, and I was looking it up. You had like 140 something tackles. Yeah. You were like a receiver, a returner. How did that happen to where you just started playing your sophomore year? And then when did you realize, like, shit, I'm different?
Like I said, you don't realize it. Like I said, I was so young, just growing into what I was doing first. And, and obviously I had my uncle Gerald he played football at Pensacola and, Escambia, same type thing as Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith, yeah.
Yeah, that same area. I used to cut grass with his dad. Yeah. He stayed around the corner. So, no, it's just going through them type of dynamics, man. It's just like just trying to work it out best way you can. But at the end of the day, just growing up and having my mom and my father, obviously, eventually, when my dad coming into my life.
Cully, you don't just get on the field as a sophomore and ball out. Like, how did it happen?
I was on it. I was on that shit. I wasn't playing.
So what were you thinking during that? Like, okay, you out there. It's my first year playing ball, and I'm like the best. I'm good.
I had a lot of grit. I had a lot of when I was young, parents, I seen a lot. Like I said, I seen my mom literally get shot twice in her chest and my dad 4 times in the back and he not here. So it's like when I talk like that, it's like, it's a deep place for me. It's for my family. It's not just like, oh, I'm out here. I didn't really think about like the football until I started to get like, doing my thing in the streets. And then I come back in Florida. Then because my Uncle Gerald tried to get me to play football. So I played what do you call it? Pop Warner or something like that.
Yeah.
One game, which was the Jamboree. It wasn't you know how the Jamboree is like the pregame or something.
Yeah.
Play the season or something like that. No. I got one game. And then my mom came and got me. Yeah, you come back to Philly during the summer. And that's how my life kind of like played out because I didn't play a lot of football. So, doing what I was doing, boom, boom, boom. I ain't gonna lie, I was, being young. It's really growing up. You 14 and stuff like that, 13 and 14. I started working on Broad Street, and to That's a famous street in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
But I was working up there, and I was, just cleaning out trash, working in the garage, things like that. I'm talking about young, 13 years old. I didn't even have a job at what's them places, Food Lions and the
Yeah.
food places. I had a job after doing all the Philly stuff. So I kind of grew and built myself up, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it mainly just started happening. So once I kind of got over that of working and didn't want to just work in that same cycle of Philly and all of that, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I had to do something. You
You're
know what
like,
I
I'm
mean?
gonna play football and I'm gonna go make me some money.
I went to go play football. I went down to my dad. It became a lot for my mom. So obviously I'm the oldest at the time in the house. I had to, this bed was bigger than our house, bed that we had. I had three brothers and sisters. Four of us slept on one bed that's smaller than that, and my mom, she slept on the couch in the other room. So it was like that's what we had to grow up, bro. I stayed in a duplex. That means somebody stay upstairs A, and then you got B level. Yeah, we stayed upstairs in A. So it was that for me growing up. It wasn't nothing sweet. It wasn't nothing light.
And you're like, I want to get out of here to
I
put
had to
my
get out.
family in better circumstances, and it was by any means.
Yes, sir. Yep. So I went down to my dad. It was the first year, and I went to Garner High School. When I went down there, North Carolina, Raleigh, Garner area, all of that. You had good names and stuff like that around there, blase. So my first year going down there, down the South, I didn't know this. This one's things as I'm growing up, I didn't know. So I'm like, Mom, obviously this wasn't working out. You want me to go? I get it. I'm meeting you out of house and home and all that. Went down to my dad, summertime, ninth grade, boom. So I'm there. I go to school or whatever, first day of school. After school, I went down to the coach, walked to the field, went down to the coach. I walked to the coach, regular thing. Hey, coach, can I get on the team and play? Because, you see them boys already doing their thing. I'm not going to lie. Coach looked at me with the up and down. Hey, damn, son, ain't you late, son? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And then that was the start of some magic.
Already in pads, already hidden, already about to go to their first game. So in Philadelphia, we don't leave, we don't in school, we don't
I'll
start.
tell you what he saw.
September.
He saw speed.
Yeah. So I didn't end up didn't play my first year, and that's how that happened. He was like, nah, I was too late, whatever, even though they didn't play the first game, but it's still early. So the next ended up leaving. I ain't gonna lie. I left North Carolina my freshman year. What is it? The December when you go on break.
Mhm.
Yeah, back to Philly. I'm like, I can't do this. So I went back, told moms, finished out the school year there. And then I just had that fetish again. I had that fetish
And
again
then
that
you went back.
too much. Yep, I'm getting too much and too big for this. So I went back down to what's the name, and I went straight to football. And then the coach,
And then that's when the magic happened, and you became a 5-star recruit. And then you chose the University of South Carolina, but you had to transition there. Can you talk about that transition from playing wide receiver, punt returner to safety and corner? Can you talk about that transition and what was your hardest point of making that transition from high school to South Carolina?
Ooh. Well, I'll say first off, even going to South Carolina, it was a lot of people mad at that. A lot of people wanted me. The Pouncey twins, Joe Hayden,
Yeah.
Cam Newton. We
Did you
all
get NIL?
would say it again.
Did you get
Under the
NIL?
table for sure.
I know they would call
Steve
NIL.
Spurrier,
I know what called
Steve
NIL
Spurrier
then,
gave you
but
some
I,
money now.
I mean, you
I
know how
wish
many
I
people
wish
now.
I got some NIL. It was if it was little of none. Yeah, I mean, ain't nothing to talk about. So not with them boys getting today. So I end up, like I said, didn't go to Florida because how, like just Whit said, you 5-star, you know how I go, Pat. Everybody kind of wants you. I remember Urban Meyer, with all of that, he told me straight up. So it was just, I end up choosing the school that I chose, from Florida and Clemson. I was going to go to Clemson. I was committed to Clemson. So I ended up choosing South Carolina. I wanted to play receiver. Like you said, when I was at North Carolina and doing my thing, it was just I always felt like obviously I was an athlete. I get the ball in my hand, I touch the ball, I'm scoring, I'm doing something, I'm getting busy. So it was just on that statue that, like, couldn't nobody in North Carolina hold me. Melvin Ingram, I'm calling out all the names. I remember Greg
That's no
Little,
shit.
remember all of these boys, like, because I came from Philly and I never felt that I was, like, accepted in they whole little, ordeal. I wasn't tripping. I'm going to beat me regardless, and I'm going to knock your head off too. So that's just how I came with it. You know what I mean? And I didn't really care about, like, oh man, they didn't like me, or really cared about what because they was, you know how I go when they there in their school and how I'm over them and oh, you're ranked over me and all this, like, oh, whatever. So I just kept doing my thing like that. But what had happened, like I said, going to South Carolina, I just, instead of being a DB, I really wanted to be at first, obviously, a receiver, or kind of like Debo, my man Debo. I wanted to be just like that. Straight up, like getting the ball, do some tricks.
Cully, I don't know, man. I seen your hands, man.
I don't
know. I seen your hands. I don't know if them receiver hands. Pat, would you agree, Pat?
You don't gotta have them receiver hands.
Hey,
That boy got bricks.
I don't know, seeing how he was in the one-on-ones in them Harbaugh days, man. He had some scrap to him. I thought he was always a defensive guy. I didn't know you was an offensive guy like that.
Man, I thought I remember you having bricks.
Yeah, I didn't know you was an offensive guy like that until now.
Nah, we ain't talking about all that.
So you went there, you had a lot of success, and then you became a third-round draft pick. The 49ers called. Can you take us back to draft night when you get that call from the San Francisco 49ers and you are in the NFL?
Third round.
No, it felt good. Just did my thing. Obviously, combine, I came off of an injury. And once again, just always had grit. Them boys I felt didn't have nothing for me. Or I just always felt that, them names wasn't better than me. Like I said, because I seen them guys and I played with them guys. I played with all the guys from the what's called, like, how when you're going
Shrine Bowl and all of that?
The Shrine Bowl,
Senior Bowl.
Yeah. You've seen everybody. So it's like, I'm like, no, I don't think that they're good. So it was just me. And then you got other, commentators.
Well, that's that competitive nature, huh? So you took that into the combine?
Yeah, definitely.
So when you saw the guys, what was you thinking?
Trash.
He's little. He's slow.
He's
Just
slow.
Tell me, what was you thinking? What guys did you see there, Cully? What guys that were drafted in front of you that you saw there and you like, man,
don't get me saying no names. I'll put them out there.
I want you to. What you talking about? That's why I asked you. Who?
Harrison Barnes, Van Dyke. Mark Van Dyke wasn't good to me. You got me thinking. Prince Amukamara, or something like that. He was like
shitty. Yeah, drafted to the Giants.
He went to the New York Giants, right?
Yeah, drafted to the Giants.
Where did he go? First round?
First round.
So that was your spot.
I feel like he got work too a little bit.
All of this, so hey, I can't control none of that. I just be like, I see it. But
so while you watching that draft day, what are you thinking?
I was just, kind of like understanding a little bit, because obviously I got hurt and injured and stuff like that. But then, once the call came in, I was happy. I was like, man, San Fran. My first thought was, what was my first thought? Really,
I'm rich.
What's this called? The Golden Boys.
A movie? I was gonna say. I was thinking of.
I thought your first thought would have been like, I'm rich.
Nah, I just thought when I went to San Fran, it was just, because the whole, good boys and stuff like that. America's team, I call it. Between how it is, Cowboys or San Fran, the whole 40 plus years of history. So it was kind of like, I was like, dang, that's what's up. It's like they like the Golden Boys and stuff, like they, you know what I mean? Like they got that franchise, they got things behind them. They wasn't like a Raiders or any other kind of, like you say, team and stuff like that didn't have history. So you was like, okay, this what's up. You got to come in here, you got to show out. And but I was happy. I was with my family. I was in Philadelphia, and everybody was happy. It's kind of like what we done it for. You know what I'm saying? My family stuck next to me. I got injured in college. Thought it was kind of over. And those type of things like that. And like I said, bouncing back from so many things. I just always had that in me. So
before we go on to the Harbaugh era and what you learned and the players you played with and the things that we did, I want to go back to what you just said, that injury. Because you had a shoulder injury and a surgery where you had complications. You almost died from it, right?
Yeah. So
Can you speak about that and what happened?
yeah. So pretty much, I have a condition called malignant hypothermia. It's a long word, so Google it yourself. So pretty much, I had shoulder surgery. Like anybody, we was playing Ohio State. Another running back, Sean Green.
Somebody laid that thing on you.
I laid that. I was
Shoulder came out. That boy laid that thing on you.
watch that game. You see me dropping the hammer on boys, laying them out. It was a real good game. Battle, stuff like that. We held it down. Had to get surgery after that. Wasn't tripping. Cool. Ended up getting surgery. And, I went in on a Monday. I'm thinking everything fine. Like anybody, all of the athletes. I'm cool. I go in. We got man, don't get me talking about this guy. So the dude name is Dr. Guy at South Carolina. He got a toupee on his head. And you know what I'm saying? And we, the guys, you know how we do. We be in the locker room, so we joke. We like, boy, Dr. Guy about to get you right, ain't he? I'm like, hell nah, but let's say Dr. Guy do a little surgery on me, and toupee and fell. Oh, got to pick it up, put it up. Those type of things like that. So end up having surgery. And grateful for him, you know what I'm saying? Even though we crack jokes and stuff like that, he saved my life. Went in surgery like it was regular shoulder surgery. Got about to go under anesthesia. All right, cool. Go to sleep. Go count down, all that stuff. Went in on a Monday, didn't come out until Wednesday, or I woke up on Wednesday. When I woke up, obviously I thought everything is cool. Got a tube in my mouth. I had my arm kind of propped up that I remember. And you wake up, you kind of start looking around. I'm like, okay, cool. And then all I seen was my guy right there, Murray, and another football player, kind of like just sad and kind of crying. I didn't know what was going on. Obviously they started to tell me, like, hey, everything's going. They always tell you hey, everything's gonna be all right, everything's gonna be all right.
And you're like, yeah, of course, I just have the surgery.
Surgery, I'm cool, we good, right? Man, heck no. They said it's Wednesday. It didn't start registering to me still. So he was like, "You've been in here for 2 days." I knew something was wrong. Then I was like, "Oh hell, why was I in here? I was there for 2 days. When was this?" So I end up pretty much what happened was I have a condition called malignant hypothermia to where I can't have general anesthesia or like penicillin and those type of things like that. So it's like when they put me to sleep, my body started incubating off the incubator. Going to hyper shocked. So I'm over here off the incubator like this, and luckily they caught it quick to where they flushed me out, all that stuff, put me, seduced me into a little coma, blah blah blah, that type stuff. And then that's when I started to find out everything. And then from that, I have to have a different type of surgery. When I do have surgeries and stuff, I got to get locally sedated and block that area more, if you want.
Holy shit! By the grace of God, they caught that quick. And all the things that we've been through, that's one of the most like close calls that I've actually heard of. And then you're here and you bought out, played in the league. You had a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Tay.
You had a purpose. But let's go into the Harbaugh culture. You were drafted. You were drafted into a hell of a locker room.
Yeah.
I don't even think you knew it at the time.
Hell no.
Because when you come into the league, you're like blinded to shit. Yeah, you might know Patrick Willis, but it's like it's all superstars on this team.
Yeah.
Alden Smith comes in, you come in, and then we instantly have success. I think in your first 3 years, you went to 3 NFC championships, a Super Bowl. What did the Harbaugh era culture locker room teach you about grit, accountability, and work ethic?
Oh man, shoot! When I think of those things, when you say it like that, I just think of the players that was in front of me, you guys. To show the way. When I first came in, I was one of the only, or how I go, the highest draft as a corner and safety as that we had that year. So you getting kind of looked at the other safeties and corners and stuff like that. Like, is he the guy? Can he get busy? This and that. And you had, I had hate and I had some good stuff. Rest in peace. To our God, man. Can't think of his name right now.
P-Town?
Nah, not P-Town. DB. Went to South Carolina State. He was drafted a year before me. Went to South Carolina State. Passed away. Can't think of his name. But anyways, just different, like you said, different guy. Phillips. His name was Phillips.
Oh yeah, he had a wild event that went on.
Yep. So like I said, good, hate, all different type of stuff. Everything was love, because I remember he was one of the first people who tried to bust me out. I was like, man, why we draft him? He doesn't, So it was kind of like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna show you what's up. And we, like Donte said, we had a lot of people on the team, so everybody was trying to really figure their way and figure things out. But I was a young guy coming in, obviously like anybody else, trying to show what I can show. And I'm just glad that you guys, just kind of gave me that morale and, came around you guys.
So Culliver, so where was that? Like I said, I remember in those one-on-ones or just practice in general, I ain't gonna lie, or just shit, I always just thought just anytime in practice, it could be one-on-ones. I would look around anytime any kind of commotion would get going. I'd always look and I'm like, is it gonna be 2-9? Like I'm like,
yeah,
Cully involved in. But
So
I'm curious, like what edge was that an edge, or is that really just your mentality now? Like was that the edge? Was that something you used on the field, or are you like that right now? Like if somebody can get you that ready to go to where, like, I mean, again, I'm not saying it was malicious, but it would just, man, you would get work. You'd be ready to. I feel like this cat's ready to fight. Like this ain't just a football down. I'm
every
like,
day,
really ready to throw these hands. Like
every day too.
What was that? Like, was that something that you feel like you needed to, or was that just something that was always just been in, like, growing up in Philly? Like, what was that?
I would probably say both, man. Honestly, I didn't really try to be something that I wasn't. I just always was more like this. But then being around, the guys, like I said, it was good times. It was times that you had to, like I said, really had you playing with the San Francisco 49ers. This ain't, oh yeah, you at Tennessee Titans. You know what I mean? So it's like you got all the Hall of Famers come around still. You got so many people that you see and stuff like that. So it was like, not saying like doing it for nobody, but it was like you had to live up to that expectation if you wanted to be somebody.
Yeah.
So it was like, and playing with you guys was more like, well, you laughing at something?
I can hear Vic right now. Cully, come on, y'all calm Cully down. Y'all calm him down. I'm like, Coach, I don't know what's in him today, man. Like,
and then your boy Ed Donatil come like, Chris, it's okay. Take a deep breath, Chris.
Yeah.
He would just bring him to the side. He had his own language for Chris Culliver.
Yeah, he did. No,
he did.
He did.
He would have his own meetings and everything. Chris, I need you to stay. I need you to stay, Chris.
Nah, football was so fun being at the facility, playing, having them guys. You had Harbaugh with his, remember, I don't know if y'all remember that time that we got into it. Remember that?
What happened? Tell us.
Man, remember we was practicing and you Pat remembered it. So we was practicing.
all those stuff.
So we was practicing doing our thing. And I have a special juice. You know what I'm saying? Like people, how coaches be having their sodas and stuff like that. So I ain't gonna lie, bro. I felt disrespected, just being honest.
Why? What'd he do to you?
So I had so somebody poured it out and left it on the ground.
Oh shit.
So me as Chris Culliver, y'all always say I getting on y'all ass. So I was like, man, let me talk to the team. So I was like, I raised my hand, being nice and all that stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, hey guys, can we not throw our stuff away? Somebody might be drinking it, that stuff like that. At the time, everybody, all right, whatever, cool, it's cool. Next day, Cully got his juice. Same thing and everything. Okay, so it was almost close to, ending practice, go get some Gatorades and stuff like that. I did. So I looked and seen that my stuff was on the ground again. And y'all know what I did. I turned up everything.
Yeah, I remember.
If Cully can't get no juice, no drink, can't nobody drink. All
Gatorade. So you closed down the drink machine because your drink got poured out, Cully?
Hey, you don't remember that? You don't remember that, Donte?
We can throw them. Like that's how I felt. I was like, look, I don't care how old.
So nowadays, looking back, do you regret that?
Nah, not that.
You still think that that was okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, it'd be
I'm a
different
little
if
different. I told you, I'm a little different. I don't get down like that. I be like,
hey, you tried to do it the nice way the
hey,
first time. I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna speak
thanks,
to the
God.
team. I'm gonna be respectful. Then somebody decided to double down with the disrespect. So you said, if we gonna take it there, then I'm gonna
No,
take it farther.
I'm shutting down the drinks for everybody, Rod.
Listen,
Harbaugh got
if
mad.
I'm on the jury, Chris, I'm saying you good in my book, brother.
So what Harbaugh say to you?
All I needed. Somebody should have said something about, hey, don't throw Cully drink away because you know how he get. And I ain't playing.
So what did Harbaugh say to you?
Oh, he was like, he told me, he was like, Cully, we're going to find you. Pat, know what I told him. I told him straight up. I said, I don't give a fuck about that fine. Wipe my ass with that fine. And walked into the locker room, and Ooey was like, come on, Cully, come on, let's just work out. I'm like, no, that's fucked up. And I, you get tired of that, so, and that's where
Nobody ever touched your juice again, Cully?
Nobody never touched the drink again.
That's the moral of the story.
There you go.
Don't touch Cully drink. Cully, we want to go into the highlight. The highlight was Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What would you tell the people out there what that Super Bowl week feels like internally? Like, does it feel like a regular game to you? Did that shit feel like a regular game, or it was like, holy shit?
Lights, camera, action. Nothing but it. Everywhere you go. And I know it's probably even bad now because of the social media, but what? I'm talking about so many cameras and everything on you, like everywhere, all the time.
Do you feel like that affects
In your
your
room.
performance? Because I felt like it affected mine. Pat did the same. That's why we fell behind. Do you feel like that grand stage affected your individual performance?
I think that we could have helped ourselves by not doing so much, but you know how and I felt hard, and that's the whole discrimination with Harbaugh be like trying to chill things out. The organization, they want to pipe it up, and obviously it's a medium, it's a mid, so yeah, I definitely felt that it didn't do us justice or better. You know what I'm saying? I felt we could have dimmed it down, and because it's taxing on your legs. People don't know you do a lot of different movements, walks. Go here, go here. Next, we got to go down here. Then we got to do things as a team. You're like, man, damn, it's about 2-3 hours. What are we doing?
Hey, so you're talking about media day and the entire week leading up to
Bro,
the
you got
game. You feel
to
like it
have
affected.
18 interviews in one day.
Yeah, you feel like it affected
I just
the
talk.
endurance and the mentality. But there's a specific play out there that 49ers fans have been waiting years to hear you explain. It's the 56-yard touchdown from Jacoby Jones. What was the coverage? What were the responsibilities? And what do you have to say about that play?
Man, it was your fault, man. It was your no.
Because you did come out after that game and was like it was my fault.
No. So it was
Tell the
literally
coverage, tell the
both of us.
responsibilities.
No,
What was the
like
coverage? What was the
so we was in
coverage?
cover 4. We was in a cover 4.
Okay.
Donte come down a little bit. At the end of the day, we both supposed to have like a number 1, but if he go up, it's supposed to only be on me. Once he do the dig, it's Donte. When he go up, that's when he's supposed to come to me.
So you got the post and all the way to the goal line.
All the way to the goal line.
And they had Anquan Bolden, their number 1 threat in the seam, to hold me there on the deep 7. So tell her.
It was a good play from them. And I seen what's his name? Not Flacco. What's the quarterback?
Flacco.
It's Flacco.
Oh, Flacco, yeah. I seen him hit that big 2 gallop step up in the pocket. I was like, damn. Just threw that thing far as he can. So,
And that was actually a 3rd and 10. And we were trying to get off the football field right before halftime. But we ended up recovering in that game. There's just so many 49er fans that's always been confused about what coverage, who was responsible on that play. And that's one of the plays that goes down in the history of 49ers football as well.
oh yeah.
Hey, question. What when you go back and you think about the play, was it a technique or was it just a moment where maybe you thought like they gonna get a pass rush. I know I don't like I'll be cool. Like what happened in that moment to where he was able to,
It's,
do what he was due to score? Was it just a hell of a route?
it wasn't even like a route or nothing like that. It was a good play because sometimes even during that game, I remember one time I undercutted Anquan Bolden, but he ended up running back around and going like this way, and obviously we got to stay with him. So sometimes it may be a broken play to where, hey, if you got to stay with your man, that's not always the easiest part. It's kind of like, so once he did, I don't know if that was his route. To be honest with you, I think he
It
seen
was a post. It was a deep post.
no,
It was a
no,
quarters beater.
it's called a digging up. It was
Oh,
a
you're talking about early in the game with Anquan Bolden because he had too
no,
much
no.
time.
With the Anquan Bolden thing was he ran something in. I'm coming down, boom, and then he turned that thing and ran back the same exact way.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like you said, it's broken plays where the quarterback running around. You like, oh, you got to latch on to your man. And I remember one time he threw it just heaved it to the side, and he caught it on the tippy toes on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
Tried to bust him down. I was like, damn. And it's that's how you can get out of position. It's hard to always have the best position because if you got a quarterback or say like if somebody missed the tackle, I'm run and do. So it's like it's football.
I think that's why we used to get so impatient with Ed Donatil because he would make us repetitively go over those type of routes right there, the coverage beaters,
yeah,
because everybody knows what's the coverage beater for cover 4, scissors route.
yeah.
You run up 7, take the safety out, you run the big post on the corner, and the quarterback throws it, looks off the backside safety if he's playing 6 or cover 4. And that's why it was so vital that we all paid attention to those things, because that was the number one route you was actually supposed to take away, though. Is the post, make them run the 7, make them break the out, make them run the comeback. But
Yep.
you always play the post first.
Mhm.
But that's just one of those things that they want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened that week, though,
As people look like being 40 yards and you got the camera looking down, that's not the same thing as being on that field.
it's
We all
not.
know that. When you on that field,
It happened fast, don't it, Cully?
it's on the camera looking down. Why he ain't do this?
I couldn't see that motherfucker.
Well, just hearing you say Flacco stepping up 2 steps in the pocket, you saw that. By the time you recognized that, you knew it was too late. You knew that ball was already it was either out or it was either coming out.
Mhm.
But you just recognizing from however many yards away, 15, 20, 30 yards away, him stepping up twice, you knew you were cooked in that regard because there's no way you're going to be able to recover as
Yep.
quickly as that ball is and as powerful as that ball was going to come out of his hands.
And then even like a person like me, I'm aggressive corner. I'm you breaking, I'm on it. I'm not, because I ain't trying to hear Pat. I ain't trying to Donte, like a lot of times, like Donte say, like we'll work like on the safety and stuff. Like safety come down, boom, boom. Donte, no, I'm locked down. I'm tell you, I'm locked.
I'm locked. I don't want to pass it off.
Yeah, I don't want to pass down. No, I'm locked. Tay. So it's just certain things like that. Like communication is key, and just being on your game. But at the end of the day, being on that field, a whole lot of commotion. Hey, get this, and that. Hey,
Before we get out of here, I want to go into something else that happened during Super Bowl week, and I want to give you a chance for some retribution. But I know you're probably not going to take it, knowing you.
no.
During that week, specifically, they told us, do not make any comments that's going to go viral or national. They said this is a week where the media likes to bait people, especially the young players.
Yeah.
First day we come back, the first question I get after guys meet with the media, Chris Culliver said he wouldn't accept a teammate that's gay. I say, oh, shit. That shit caught on like wildfire, didn't it, Cully?
No,
And before it, you didn't even know what happened, did you?
Media control. I was like, geez.
Exactly. How do you feel about those comments nowadays, seeing the way that the world is? And are you more comfortable with, people that are gay?
Yeah, most definitely, man. I had my PR at the time, was gay. My cousin gay. All of, like you said, the gay stuff was definitely taken out of context. It wasn't like, oh, Cully ain't playing with no gay people. But when we on this football field and the people that I know, we're not talking about who's gay and who's not gay. We trying to win this game. We ain't sitting there like, oh, is this
So you
person?
took the bait, Cully.
So I was like, nah,
You
I
took
ain't.
the bait. They got
I
you.
was just like, we were not worrying about that. If you hear me saying, I'm
But
like,
if you could go back and take that back, you would take that back, wouldn't you?
oh yeah, definitely,
You would
definitely.
answer that differently, wouldn't you? You'd
I
be
would
like, yeah, we'll accept. You
say
would
no.
lie to him, wouldn't you?
I'll just say no comment. We ain't talking about that. We on the Super Bowl. We want to talk about something about the Super Bowl. That's cool. So I definitely would have probably escalated that question, differently now that I'm
Is
older.
there any backlash that came from that you can see, like actively measure in your life, backlash that came from those statements?
Yeah, a little something. People didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I just
Well,
kind of
shit, they understood. You like shit. We won't accept them in the locker room. They understood.
nah, definitely not. So it was just like you said, me just like I said, being young. And if I did make a mistake, I take accountability. I don't care what stage is on. I take full accountability, and I'm gonna work towards being better and knowing my environment and what's going on. So I respect everybody.
So before we get out of here, I want to ask you one final question.
Yeah.
You've transitioned out of the National Football League. We all know that that's a very difficult thing for athletes, right? Finding your next purpose, passion, staying focused, locked in. Um, who is Chris Culliver without the game of football?
Oh man, everything. A father, or uncle, a brother. Someone who cares. I have a passion. Um, everything. You know what I mean? So a motivator. You know, so pretty much everything. Football is not just the defining of me of my purpose and stuff like that. I have a lot more to give in other aspects of life, and to give the other people, athletes, whether it's motivational, whether it's things that you're going through and need help to talk through about. Hey, I'm all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like the wild card, that you put me in there, I'm gonna make it happen for you.
So how are you doing right now during the transition, knowing that it's phased? Like, what is your current passions and what are you working on and what are you trying to achieve right now in your life?
Well, let me back up a little bit. I can also say that, playing football and stuff like that, it did take a change in me mentally and my health, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, out of playing football, that's the biggest change.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing else much like change, just the mindset of, keeping your thoughts in your mind kind of calming down, because, you can kind of go out there to where you'll never be here no more. So I want to just kind of like encourage that into, whether you out there seeking and trying to get help, therapy, psychiatrists and things like that. Like, I do all of that now. I didn't do that when I'm, like you said, Cully, you 23, baby, you getting into the money, and I'm like you said, Donte, I'm smashing something, knocking somebody's head or ready to slam somebody. So,
So you feel like, and that's the last topic that I wanted to get in because I feel like we're in a state of emergency
yeah,
with a lot of the NFL players, the former players, and specifically a lot of the young players.
yeah,
The guys who don't necessarily have the tools to be able to deal with the promise, the blessings, because they haven't really endured much. And
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, they're like, "When you was the number 8 pick, you was a top 10 pick when they gave a lot of money." Yeah, I was 20 years old too, and a lot of people think that it's just such a wonderful feeling and a blessing, which it is. But
mhm,
majority of the time, you feel chaos
yeah, oh yeah,
because you don't have the tools or the coping mechanisms or the skills or the emotional intelligence to deal with everything that comes with such a significant blessing. So
yeah,
when we think about Marshawn Nealon and we think about um,
Rondale
Kyron
Moore.
Lacey from LSU, and we think about Moore from the last few days and how the suicide um, component is coming into play. I think that the NFL and the NFLPA has to strategically come together and make it mandatory for all current, former professional NFL football players to get therapy.
yeah. I
There's a certain amount of days you need per year. There's a way to signal and see if you have red flags that might show that it might lead to this road. So that's why I asked you about the transitional phase, because you get guys that don't know how to deal with the negativity that comes along with getting injured, the psychological effects. You might be in financial hardship. You might have family turn on you. You might have all types of wild things going on in your life and no coping mechanism, along with the head trauma or whatever type of substance abuse that you're currently on can turn into something like we've been seeing. So
That's
I
what I'm
really wanted to hit on that for a second, because right now we're in a state of emergency, and this has happened 3 times in this past year.
I agree. I definitely agree. We have no tools, and there's not many programs out there that's helping us. And everything that what you just said, like helping us, you know, take current and older athletes and stuff like that, retired or whatever, taking therapy and sessions a certain amount of days to do certain things, so they can, like you say, look at what's going on. If they feel that something is
Have a
going
baseline for you to be able to
on,
see if you like tripping out, if your brain is starting to
and you
like
can already get them on
fail you. Yeah, you have to,
things.
man. I think. Yeah,
So
go ahead. No, go ahead, Cully. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, and just whether it's tools, whether it's like you said, and that baseline helping you, diagnosing them, being like, okay, he need more tools, we got whatever to help him calm down and not be so animated or whatever, and going off the ripter and knowing that stuff instead of, like you said, oh, this person didn't die, this didn't happen.
Because truthfully, when you look inside that locker room and the trauma that comes from a lot of where we come from, a lot of it is undiagnosed mental illnesses.
Yeah.
And I realized that years ago when somebody told me, Whitner, do you realize what you did for a living? Do you know the type of courage and the kind of fuckets it take to run full speed 20 miles per hour and hit somebody with your helmet?
Oh, I know, man. I told you them
They told me
stories,
that. So I'm like, they're like,
but
you might be undiagnosed with something that you probably should go and get checked out for and seek therapy.
well,
Yeah,
that,
oh, no, I was just gonna say, I think it was Brett Favre. I remember after I retired or whatnot, the first thing I started thinking about was like, shit, man, like what's coming down the road. I know we were doing all this banging with the head and everything, and I was like, and I used to always hear the chiropractors say, you know, people don't have these kind of collisions unless they're going 60 miles an hour in the car.
In a car
And you
accident.
guys are doing this like every single day. So right away, man, I started like reading up on the brain. I started realizing like they say if you just thump on the mind, like just thump on the head like this for a little while, it could agitate like your brain or put it in a way that's can have you all kind of ways. And I was like,
Abnormal.
put you in
holy
that
shucks.
chill
And
mode.
so I saw something that Brett Favre said. He said it's not if, it's when something's going to happen, because we cannot play this game and have those kind of collisions that you shouldn't be having and nothing comes from it.
Yep.
And so everything you guys are saying, and especially you, Donte, like, man, it could be something later on they're gonna have to do, because that's the one thing that I think about now. I'm like, if we go through this at this age and we're like at 30 and we're just a little bit older, supposed to be a little bit growner, I'm like, what the hell are these kids gonna deal with when they're coming out of high school and college with them? And they getting heavy money now. And then like Dante said, whether it's mental, I mean, whatever kind of mental illness it may be,
Financial,
financial, like that's
psychological.
when it's gonna hit those guys when they realize like they get out of college, they get that 4th year and they realize they don't have that same money that they've been having. And
Mhm.
now they don't have a job, they're not going to the NFL and
And
they
you
had
lost that
access.
clout, and the girls look at you different, and the people talk shit about you, how you lost it all, and you broke,
Man,
and you don't have the emotional intelligence to handle this. It
uh,
can be a major issue for college sports as well.
man, and you don't know what it's like to struggle, and you don't know what it's like to
That
be
ego
dropped.
take that hit, Pat. That
Hey,
pride, you want to go
so
hide.
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
much as we've been through, as much as we talk about sometimes, man, everything we've been through in our lives to even, become what we became, I also think it's a blessing in a way, because it made us also tough in a way to where we're like, listen, unless we're gonna take the easy way out, we can fight this shit.
Yep.
There's some people who had never been through no fight, that's when they say, man, like,
Man,
it's
they
too
say when
much.
you come from nothing, it ain't nothing to go back. When you
So
come from everything, that's when you have issues. So if you
man,
keep that mindset, you're like, damn, I've been here before. I can get out this shit again. Then you will make the miracles happen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Cully, you feel me?
That's
and
right.
Stay
that's
locked in on your purpose, dog. It was great to have you on. And that's going to come to the closure of the Grit Code podcast, episode number 26. Make sure you guys out there subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, and Instagram. And from myself, Patrick, Rod, and Cully. We're going to say it's not just cold.
Good to see you,
It's a way of
Culliver.
life.
I love y'all boys, man. I appreciate
Love
it.
you too, man.